One of the most technical sprint finishes you'll see in pro cycling this season, with hairpin turns, descent finish, corner in the final. This was CRO Race Stage 3. We had Elia Viviani still in the leader's jersey, but this was a hillier stage than the previous ones. 2 repetitions, it's 2 local laps of a 400 meter 14% climb, and there's a valley in between 2 descent sections, a turn, they get a look at the finish line where there's an intermediate sprint. Would Ineos try and nurse Viviani over it? Breakaway with Hopkins, Rudik, Kostansky and Hammerschmidt. Hammerschmidt going for the KOM jersey. Plapp on controlling duties once again, but it is a tricky one for Ineos. Do they try and launch Sheffield? Do they go for a reduced sprint with Hayter, or do they hope that Viviani makes it for a bigger group sprint if the climb is softer than maybe it appears on paper? Because that's also in the hands of a team like Little Trek. If Little Trek send it and they start to make the race hard earlier, but on one of the more gradual climbs, maybe Viviani doesn't make it. Maybe Bahrain launch Morich to take back time on GC. So Ineos had a few options, but also those options complicate things a little bit more, whereas DSM, I think, were firmly in the train of trying to get Lund Andersen over so that he could sprint and take the GC lead on bonus seconds, because he's already got some bonies before. But the first rep, Tarling enters first, pulls up stumps. His job and Rowe's job was to make the guys enter in good position. Swift is going to help later, but you see here Sheffield's there, and I can't really figure out the plan. Because Sheffield, he's got Christoph Unox on his wheel, he's got 4 Bahrains looking at him, Little Trek have got numbers. Maybe he was just doing his rhythm on the climb, but it ended up being a really good tempo for the sprinters, with Viviani making it, Lund Andersen, Christoph, all those guys, Aular making it no problem, and it wasn't really an attack from Sheffield either. So I couldn't really figure out that plan, but for DSM, if they wanted it to be a harder race, I think they go harder there and they try and launch only on the next climb, but they didn't. They seem to be looking to see where Andersen is. He's in that white jersey, about 6th wheel, and Ineos got good numbers. As I said, I think maybe even Rowe was here at this point still, so it really wasn't that selective the first rep. Here's this hairpin with a K to go. Absolutely crazy. They get a good look at it, thankfully. This is, and then as the descent straight after this, it's so hard to make up positions from this point to the finish. Swift and Sheffield enter in really good position. Aular dive bombs the first time, gets into 3rd wheel, and you can see, like, with that descent coming into 2 sweeping corners in the last 500 meters, you are not going to make up position. If you're 10th P10 going into that turn, you cannot win this race, this stage. You probably can't even podium the stage, frankly. And this isn't the last turn. They go right-hand bend, then a left-hander. Aular wanted to come at the inside of it. He gets closed off, and then he comes around the outside as it opens up. Actually takes the maximum bonies with Sheffield 2nd, Swift 3rd. But then it levels off for 2Ks. Mihalovic attacks for Bahrain. And so this is what I thought maybe Ineos could have used their numbers with Hayter and Sheffield. They're both big engines. Mihalovic actually goes himself, and it's up to Ineos now to chase, and they chase with race leader Viviani. So clearly they didn't think he was making it over the last repetition of that punchy climb, and they use him as a domestique. Then it's Swift pacing with Hayter and Sheffield in good position, 2nd and 5th wheel. So DSM, once again, they show their hand. They were trying to get Andersen over. They didn't launch it with Onley despite having numbers or Bittner. It's Simmons who went, but he wasn't able to get separation. It's Yolo Kometa going to the front. But yeah, DSM shut it down. They checked that Andersen's there. They go for the sprint with him. And so it's a bigger group than I think many of the teams expected. I thought it would be maybe 10 guys, a little bit more selective. And here is also a bit curious. Hayter goes to the front. He's looking maybe for Sheffield, and I guess in a reduced group sprint, Hayter's been winning a lot of races like these. He's a great option to win this stage, but maybe Sheffield's their GC guy. I couldn't really figure it out, because Hayter starts pacing, and then he looks at Sheffield, and then Sheffield comes up over the top of him. Maybe he was trying to block, but then I really couldn't figure it out. Bahrain got 2. They got Burati for the sprint, but Morich, as we saw with Milan last year, he will say he's going to lead you out and then just go for the sprint himself. And there's Aular, who's looked really, really good. But yeah, Dunbar's pacing for Campbell Stewart. Morich moves up, and then Hayter loses a lot of positions here and goes to like P20. And Campbell Stewart's got to follow his teammate there. If he follows his teammate, he's looking back. Maybe he's got a chance, but he was way too deep. Parasini's on Sheffield's wheel in the grey jersey of Q3 6.5. And so, yeah, and there's no hater in shots with Sheffield pacing. So I can't figure out what the plan was or what was happening here. Anyway, Anderson's second wheel moves up into really good position thanks to DSM's pacing. Look at Aula. He's P9 right here into this hairpin. And whether you like it or not, he did in the Vuelta as well. He just goes outside, then checks the space, dive bombs inside, exits the corner P3, and you have to. Because if you're behind Anderson here, and even Anderson himself, you cannot win this stage from this position. 750 meters to go with a downhill sprint with 2 corners. You have to be top 5 wheels. And Parasini is in second wheel right now. Moric comes over the top of him. I think that actually helped him a little bit, putting another guy, dragging him into the wheel of Pavel Bittner, who's now doing the lead out for Anderson. But Anderson loses wheels through this corner, gets a gap on Parasini with Bittner kicking hard. And I think that actually costs him, despite his man doing the lead out. And now we have the left-hander that opens up. Parasini kicks. Anderson's got his back. I thought he might come out, but he can't. Not quick enough. The young Italian, 23-year-old on Q36.5, gets it done. But you can see Anderson just didn't take that corner as well as Parasini. Parasini's handling must be very good. He's straight into the slipstream of Moric. And as his left-hander, he sees the open space to the right, kicks out. But still, Anderson got a good run into his wheel. If he's quick enough, he's able to come out. But maybe they're just carrying so much speed. I don't know. Maybe he was tired after the 2 climbs. And yeah, Q3 6.5, get a big win. 2 Pro Conti wins in a row. Ahead of Anderson, then Moric third, Bittner, Aula, Feta, Buratti, Barcelo, Sheffield, and Glivar running out the top 10. Here's what Parasini had to say after the stage.
Congratulations, Nicolo, your first professional victory. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, I can't believe it's a big emotion for me, and I know that today I can do a good race, a good result, and I made it.
And can you talk us through the last kilometers, the Panci Finale?
Yeah, it was important to take in the first position the last corner to the left, and I take the last the last corner in third position, and I wait I think 5 seconds Moric. When I start Moric for the sprint, I do my best and I win.
And do you have any plans for tomorrow for the Queen stage?
I don't know. I'm here for the stage. Tomorrow I try to do my best for the team and for Matteo Badilatti is our GC rider, and we try to do again a good result.
Thank you very much.
In terms of GC, DSM protecting Anderson pays off. He goes into the leader's jersey for now, 2 seconds out of Parasini. Aula in third, though. Sheffield in fourth on 10 seconds. Really interested to see how this race pans out, because these sprinters are climbing really well and this parkour isn't looking too difficult. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you at the recap tomorrow. Ciao.